I always considered myself a devoted wife and caring mother. My marriage wasn't perfect, but it was stable and predictable. Over the years, my husband and I had settled into a routine of polite indifference. We raised our kids together, shared a home, but the spark that once connected us had quietly faded into an unspoken distance. Our son, Alex, had recently turned 22, and his group of friends practically lived at our house. Their laughter and the sound of video games echoed through the living room most weekends. Among them was a young man named Nathan, who stood out for reasons I couldn't quite explain. Nathan was tall, with dark hair and a charisma that seemed to draw everyone's attention. He was polite and respectful, but there was an underlying confidence about him that made me notice him in a way I probably shouldn't have. It all started on a lazy Sunday afternoon. Alex and his friends were in the backyard playing soccer, and I was in the kitchen preparing snacks for them. Nathan walked in, drenched in sweat, his t-shirt clinging to his athletic frame. "Mrs. Hamilton," he said with a warm smile, "need any help?" I shook my head, focusing on the tray of sandwiches I was arranging. "No, thank you, Nathan. Go back and enjoy the game." But he didn't leave. Instead, he leaned against the counter, his gaze fixed on me. "You always take such good care of everyone," he said softly. "Don't forget to take care of yourself too." His words caught me off guard, and for a moment, I couldn't breathe. It wasn't just what he said, it was how he said it with a sincerity that made me feel seen in a way I hadn't in years. I brushed it off with a nervous laugh. "That's what mums do," I replied, trying to keep things light. But the way he looked at me lingered in my mind long after he had gone back outside. Over the following weeks, I found myself noticing Nathan more and more, the way his laughter filled the room, the way he always seemed to linger in the kitchen when I was there. I told myself it was harmless, a silly crush I would never act on. But deep down, I knew there was more to it. Then, one evening, everything changed. Alex had gone out with his friends, but Nathan stayed behind, claiming he wasn't feeling well. I offered to make him tea, and we sat together in the living room. The house was eerily quiet without the usual chaos of voices. As we talked, I found myself opening up to him in a way I hadn't with anyone in years. I shared my fears, my frustrations, and the loneliness I hadn't even admitted to myself. When I finished, he reached out and took my hand. "You deserve to feel happy," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. Before I could respond, he leaned in and kissed me softly at first, then with a passion that left me breathless. Rationality screamed at me to stop, but I couldn't. For the first time in years, I felt desired, alive. We broke apart when the front door opened and Alex's voice echoed down the hallway. Panic surged through me as Nathan quickly stepped back, his expression unreadable. That night, I lay in bed beside my husband Mark, consumed by guilt and longing. I hated myself for replaying the kiss in my mind, for craving more. The next day, I resolved to avoid Nathan entirely, but fate had other plans. Late in the afternoon, the doorbell rang, and there he stood, holding a small toolbox. "Alex mentioned the cabinet in the laundry room," he said casually. "Thought I'd help out." I hesitated, but eventually let him in. As he worked, the tension between us was palpable. When he finished, he turned to me, his expression serious. "About the other night." "Terror." "Nathan, we can't," I interrupted, my voice shaky. "It was a mistake." "Was it?" he asked, stepping closer. "Because I can't stop thinking about you, about how it felt to kiss you." My resolve crumbled as he reached out, brushing my cheek. "You deserve more," he whispered. This time, I didn't resist. Our kiss was desperate, hungry, and full of unspoken emotion. We found ourselves meeting in secret, each encounter more intoxicating than the last. He made me feel alive in a way I hadn't in years, but with every stolen moment came the shadow of guilt. I knew I was crossing a line that could destroy my family. Then, one evening, Mark surprised me with a rare dinner date. As we sat across the table, I realized how far I had drifted from him. His face, once so familiar, now felt like a stranger's. "Are you okay?" he asked, his eyes filled with concern. "I'm fine," I lied, forcing a smile. But the truth was, I wasn't fine. I was caught between two lives: the safe, predictable world I had built with Mark and the thrilling, dangerous connection I shared with Nathan. The breaking point came when Alex found a text on my phone, a message from Nathan that I had forgotten to delete. Mom Alex said, his voice trembling. What's going on? My world crumbled as I struggled to find words, the weight of my actions crashing down on me. Thank you for joining us on this journey through another captivating story. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. And for more gripping tales like this one, make sure to subscribe to Story Voyage and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.